Go fish, and welcome to I Need a Hobby, a podcast. I am this week's host, Andrew, and to my left, the only shuffling he knows how to do is the Cupid Shuffle, Chris.
Hey there.
And to my right, they call him the King of Hearts, not because he's so good with the ladies, but because he's often found stabbing himself in the head with a sword. Alex.
Yikes.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, I think.
Quick trivia fact, the King of Hearts is the only king where he's stabbing himself in the head with a sword.
Actually, I'll hop right into it. I would love to hear, history behind, cards, you know?
Yeah.
Why
did they choose to do that?
They choose that?
I wonder if it's a specific king they're referencing.
Right. It's not like,
Maybe.
do all queens and kings have...
King Henry VIII, who cut his wife's heads off?
Oh, yeah.
Potentially.
But, I was just going to say, do all kings and queens have jacks as, little, maybe
son.
Their son.
Honestly, I don't really know what a jack is outside of the context of
and
cards.
Joker. It's called a jester, you idiots.
Seriously.
I always thought the jack was maybe the jester. I feel like we need to take a look at the
He does kind of look like a jester, but the Joker really looks like a jester.
He looks like a goofball.
The jack looks like a prince. It's called a prince, not
They
a
should call it, Prince Queen King.
Insane.
All right.
Jester.
We haven't even got started on the ace, which is also random.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's take a little break. So people are probably wondering, what's this podcast about? You know,
They said go fish at the top.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's fishing, Charlie Moore outdoors style. Now they're talking about cards.
This podcast is about us, me, Chris, and Alex, Andrew, Chris, and Alex, few college grads working the 9 to 5 and trying to make the most of the 5 to 9. Each week, we take on a challenge, hobby, or activity, and we tell you guys about it. And this week, super excited for episode 52. We decided what better way to kick off our favorite episode 52.
Favorite episode it is.
with
I do love this one.
with card games.
Yeah.
What would you
and
call it?
stuff like that.
It's a hobby or an activity?
It could be a hobby. I think it's only a hobby if you're playing competitively, though, you know?
No.
I don't
I think it's a hobby.
Wow, gee, that's making me.
Who plays card games competitively?
Oh, you think it's
Poker
a hobby?
players or something?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say I think it's an activity.
I think it's. I think
Because
it
you
could
only
be
play it
an
I don't
activity.
think anyone says they play cards as a hobby unless they're like a...
I feel like
I
if
would
it's
say
really a
that.
hobby, you research this. You would be Chris said,
Strategies.
You're
Yeah,
gonna research
exactly.
the skills behind it.
Okay,
So.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
So maybe it's an activity.
Mm-hmm.
Unless maybe if you're in a league.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
really too competitive. But
Yeah.
man, if they have go fish leagues,
Yeah,
ugh,
I don't want to
gosh.
be on this world
This
anymore.
is about
That's
to be a
true.
quick nay of a hobby.
Right. So yeah, do you guys want to get into it? Do we have anything else we want to talk about before we get
Not
going?
really. I mean, it is the crack of dawn. This is
That's
your
Yeah, the
true.
folks at home need to know if we yawn a few times mid podcast, just know that we're doing this basically as soon as we woke up.
This podcast, we normally record it.
There are Z's coming
Usually
out
it's
of
like a
Chris's head right
late
now.
evening kind of podcast, but right now it's like 9 a.m.
And we got
Yep.
almost no sleep last night.
Yeah,
Mhm. Team
So-
No Sleep.
here we are.
Mostly because Andrew's apartment is haunted.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
are
it's
ghosts
spooky.
keeping us up, but we're here. We're recording.
Yeah.
We just got some good
Do you
breakfast.
guys meet any of them?
The ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple ghosts. Yeah, I met this one ghost.
Yeah, Richard. I think we both met him.
Richard, decent guy.
Yeah, he was all right.
Spooky though.
He was trying his best. I wouldn't say he was
Did he
the
have his
spookiest.
eye patch on? He sometimes does that.
Yeah,
where
he
he's
has, yeah.
trying to pretend he's a pirate. Like,
But it's-
you
and
can
it's-
see
yeah,
through it,
like,
buddy.
did you say arg to me? I know you say boo. You're not tricking.
It's
Not
generous.
fooling anyone.
It's generous because it makes it so you can actually see him. You know, because he is
Yeah,
a
it was
ghost.
just a
and they're
floating
kinda
eye
typically
patch.
see through.
And he had that name tag on that said, "Hey, I'm Richard," so that was helpful too.
Yeah.
I call him a friendly ghost.
Yeah, in fact, he has those peelable sticker ones, so he has to put that on every single morning.
Wow.
So I think it was a real special
Because of all
occasion.
the plasma, his ghost plasma kind of just makes it fall off.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
that's
it kind of
that's
stuck.
tough.
Yeah, and Ghost can't wear shirts, so it's just stuck to his chest.
Wow, you're right.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
Yeah,
Damn
Poor
shame.
guy.
should just tattoo it on, maybe. But
Yep.
What are ghost tattoos would work? Would they also be invisible?
Yeah, I'm also they do make invisible. Wait, they make invisible ink tattoos,
Jeez.
so you can only see it under black light.
Black light,
Do you
that's
guys
pretty
know about
cool.
that?
Yeah, I'm
I think
into
that's
that.
really cool.
That is
Yeah.
I think that's more people should know.
that
about
reminds
that.
me of National Treasure or something, though. It's like take your friend into this room.
Shine this light on his
Yeah.
head.
But I would say one of the biggest reasons for people not getting tattoos is that it looks unprofessional or it has a stigma to it, which is probably wrong these days. But
Yeah,
that's a great way to get you get around that.
Yeah, especially if you're one of those ravers.
Yeah, then
you
look,
know, it's
then
really
you
just
look
exposed
sick.
when you're in your element. That'd be so cool.
Just have a tattoo that says "I hate raves."
I'd also
In
imagine
black light.
because tattoo places are already like cool enough looking, you know, from the outside. Like these invisible ink ones are probably like come under this basement and like,
Yeah,
seek your
I
out.
thought maybe it looks like a laser tag place or something.
Yeah, I've got a picture of that too.
I like the idea of not remembering if you got a tattoo, maybe thinking you were dreaming, and then be like, "Oh my god!" And
Oh
then
my God.
you check your leg, and it's like, "Oh, I guess I didn't." Phew.
Wait, imagine that if we got. If remember when we were in Disney, we went on Rock and Roller Coaster and there was the black light on us.
Yeah.
Imagine we were there and one of us discovered that we had a tattoo.
Afterwards, when we look at the picture,
we had a crazy drunken night one night without even knowing it, and then we accidentally got a black light tattoo.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, personally, if I was to get a tattoo, I would probably go for the Jack of Clubs because I love going to
Is that
clubs.
your favorite card? Oh,
Yeah, and your name is Jack.
Yep.
he's the Jack of all clubs.
So let's get into it here. So card games. What I love about card games is there's so many card
And
games.
we're talking specifically we're not talking gambling card games.
Yeah, this
Right?
is just like recreational card games.
Yeah,
We're not talking
yeah.
like blackjack and whatnot. This is kids.
This is
card
Yeah, we
games.
can do another episode on gambling. In fact, I think we will. We've always been talking about going
Yeah.
to a casino, so maybe we'll do that someday. But for now, they're not playing Go Fish at the casino. That'd be a little weird.
That'd be great.
That'd be kind of cool. though.
Competitive Go Fish.
That's like Chuck E. Cheese casino.
Oh, that'd be so funny. Yeah, like a Chuck E. Cheese like
That would
little
not last
corner.
though.
We
People
go
would
in
get
the-
It's
so
like
mad.
Chucky like smoking a cigar or something.
They
playing-
beat up the kids in the
Go
when they
Fish.
start counting cards.
That's where you drop off your kids when you go to Vegas and like have a family.
Right. So yeah, let's get back into this deck talk. I liked what we had here.
Wait, so
about-
Jack of Clubs is would you say that's your favorite card?
uh,
You brought it up?
no, I don't. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I don't have a favorite.
Is it
card.
normal to have a favorite card? I mean,
Well, let's predict the history of the playing cards because I understand the idea of having what are there 13 cards, 14?
13, yeah, number.
I understand having 13 different cards, whatever. They could have easily just kept them numbered, but some games need face value cards. But where do the hearts, where do those
Right.
symbols come from, and where do the royalty aspect? Where does that come
no,
from?
I have no idea.
It must be like a
Like if
regal,
card
a
games
regal
were
game.
invented
Yeah.
now in New York, would the face cards be like Kardashians or something? Like
Yeah. Like
Yeah, I wish I
Jay-Z's the king.
that? Yeah.
I wish I looked into the history a little more. Maybe we could pull that up in a bit. But yeah, I have no idea. I mean,
That's-
how long has this been played? You think?
oh wait, do you think it has anything to do with chess? There's a king and queen in chess. Because I know
yeah.
in chess, we'll do an episode on chess to talk about the history more in depth. But chess started without kings and queens; they were just like certain pieces. And when it came to Europe, they switched it to be similar to the royalty there.
That's
Well,
interesting.
thinking about it,
So maybe
now
card
they-
games was
well,
similar to that.
I mean, but the only similarities between card games and chess are the king and the queen. So
right. And the sevens. Well,
Yeah.
I guess there's
Yeah.
no seven
No, that's
piece in
true.
chess. You're
I
right.
mean, you could say the same thing about oh, you know what? Card games are so much like British Parliament, right? Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why
Yeah.
is it like British Parliament?
but it actually
it
is
is.
somehow.
The thing about cards that's interesting is
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is there are two games that involve king and queen? So maybe card games
they came from
were
the same
something else
place
first,
or
and
something.
when it came to Europe, they're like, nope,
Card
everything has
games-
to be king and queen
Card
now.
games and the King of Queens, starring Kevin
Card
James.
games
Yeah.
and Kevin James are
A lot of
both
British
so
influence in
similar.
that show. You can really say.
Yeah, and it was cool in the King of Queens series finale when Kevin James stabbed himself in the head, declaring, "I am the true King of Hearts." And then Kevin Hart showed up.
Crazy.
And he said, "My God."
Yeah, it was like a big Kevin Hart stand-up routine at the end.
Oh man.
All right. Yes, so we have the deck. We start with the ace. Interesting choice, as we said.
See, now you start with the ace. I already can't tell if you're counting down or counting up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
is
another
ace
thing.
low or
This is
high? I like the
insane.
option.
Something that is so, let's see, what's the word? Frequented, or no, not the word at all. But
Yeah, I always go to the ace.
people
In times of
people
need.
play card games so often, and yet no one knows whether or not the ace is high or low.
Right. I would say
It can be both.
it's got to be in most games high, right?
But I'd say that's a good thing about the ace is that it gives you that flexibility, you know,
Mhm.
because all the other cards are pretty rigid. You know
Sure.
which one's
Yep,
better.
you're
But
right.
the ace gives you a little wiggle room. Because it's funny because there's so many games, kind of like you said, that you can play with cards, but they all use the same cards. You know what I mean? Like for the most part.
That's what I think
Almost
is so great.
all
Yeah,
games
it's not
use all
like-
52 cards.
Like when you think of Yu-Gi-Oh, there's
Yeah,
only
exactly.
one game you can play with the Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm like
cards.
Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon are somewhat similar, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but you're right. You can't play another game with that same
Exactly,
deck
yeah.
of cards. Whereas in playing cards, you got endless games.
It's perfect.
Crazy.
I mean,
which is very interesting because it's probably been around for so long, but like
I would actually
it's timeless.
I would actually argue that it is potentially endless games. Like I think that there's got to be well over 1,000 card games.
we could make up
Yeah,
1,000 card
no
games.
doubt.
You know?
I
yeah,
would say no doubt well over 1,000.
That's like
I
incredible.
mean, you got 52 pickup.
yeah,
You got 51 pickup.
yeah.
You could do
I mean, we
50
could go on and
pickup.
on. But yeah, I liked your point, Alex, about the suits. No one tends to think that it's kind of accepted as a fact. Like,
Because I wouldn't know what clubs were.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
quote unquote clovers, as some call them.
oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
That-
If,
oh wait,
or I guess more.
No, wait,
more
what is-
the spades? I wouldn't call. I wouldn't.
what do people call spades? Shovels or
shovels?
something?
I think.
That's
wrong.
ridiculous.
But they do look like a shovel. I get. But
I-
you think that's what it's based off of?
Oh,
Isn't
no-
a spade like an? What is a spade? It is a shovel.
Yeah, more or less, right? It's
Oh
like
yeah. Oh yeah.
So I
tool.
understand it, but call it spade.
Wow.
You got to call it the right name.
You gotta call
Yeah.
a spade, right?
But yes. I feel like we should end the podcast right there.
yeah, it's been good.
No, but I wouldn't know what spade the logo of spades. I wouldn't know what that was without playing cards.
Hmm.
You know,
Definitely
Yeah.
not.
but it's been adopted by playing cards.
I also don't think I would call a club otherwise, right?
No.
definitely not.
That's a clover.
Yeah, why do they call that a club?
Seriously, I don't know.
This is one of those episodes where we should have done some serious.
Yeah.
research.
I know. I mean,
I
we've
know.
already.
We haven't even gotten into
This is
playing
untapped market.
games. We're just talking
Yeah,
about playing cards
seriously.
right now.
Okay, but I think it is time we get into playing games, and I'm sure our conversation will always lead back to the
What is this?
why does the king of
Why
cards
is it
have
made
a sword in
of
his head?
paper?
what is a playing card?
What is a
Do
seven?
you think if
right?
playing cards were invented now, it would just be like an app? I guess you could say that. I guess you could say that with any
Whatever,
game.
yeah.
It's just
that's
plain
invented.
CRD. Like take out the vowels
Yeah.
like all the hip apps do.
It's just playing.
Dude, random thing, but I hate apps that like get rid of vowels like that. It
Oh, really?
is one of my pet peeves. I do not know why.
I feel like it's
pisses
it's like
me off.
just leaving being hip now. Like
It's so
now
annoying.
you see it and it's like cliche.
Yeah,
but
because it's
before-
probably like I don't know who was the first to do it, but they were probably like, all right, cool, whatever, and then everyone's like,
it's like
gotta be those
minimalist.
guys.
Minimalist
Yeah,
was
exactly.
very in a while ago.
Yeah.
Like I remember when we were first coming up with our podcast, we were going to call it Hobby, just HYB. You
Yeah.
know, but that's because it was 4 years ago. when we came up with it.
HYB.
Yeah.
How you
I mean
been?
HBY, not HYB. We were going to call it hip.
Yeah,
Really,
thankfully
really
we,
leave them guessing.
we workshopped the name after Hib was on the it was left on the cutting room floor.
What about hip, guys? What is that? Minimalist? No. All right. So here's what I'm going to question you guys. What is the first playing card game you think you've ever played?
Hmm.
That was a good
'Cause
question.
I think I know. I think it's the one we started with yesterday,
Yep.
and the one we started this podcast with.
Yep.
Go Fish.
Yeah, that was definitely
You
one
guys
of the
think that?
first.
Yeah.
I grew up with Go Fish and a lot of War.
Yeah,
at a
I
young
think
age.
War should be the first game because War
It's so simple.
got to be the simplest card game.
Just
right?
teaches you the number.
Other than
Like,
52 pickup.
Yeah.
And
Well, it was funny when
Or
I
was
was
it 52?
I was ribbing Chris a little because he didn't know the rules for Go Fish. Turns out I don't.
Turns
know
out
them.
none of us.
None of us
Well,
know them.
I don't know. I don't think I've played Go Fish in
Exactly,
maybe,
yeah.
Yeah.
maybe 18 years. No
Exactly.
joke.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. I never, because I play plenty of cards. That's like definitely an activity that I frequent. Like if I'm sitting around with some friends, like we'll bust
Yeah,
out a
see,
deck of
that's
cards,
not-
but it's never Go
I don't think
Fish.
I've even played cards, a non-drinking
Oh.
card game in 18 years.
I love playing
Jeez.
cards.
I do too, yeah. But yeah, never Go Fish. So playing was
So-
interesting.
For
We
those
still
the fans
don't actually
unfamiliar
know
with
how to
Go
win.
Fish.
We also played 3-person Go Fish.
That's okay,
which is
though.
different.
So we weren't sure. Email in if you know. Yeah, once again, another thing we should have researched how to
Yeah.
play Go Fish.
We do
but
have the internet, I swear.
Email in if you know, but don't tell us the rules. Just shame us.
Yeah.
just say
Yeah.
I know how to play
Just
Go
roast
Fish.
us in the email.
But so we were confused because in Go Fish you have 7 cards. We know that. You ask for cards to make pairs. Alex, you got any 4s? Alex?
Right. Go Fish.
Okay. So I go fish, keep looking until I keep drawing cards. But if you keep getting the pairs,
Whoa.
What?
Keep looking until you keep drawing cards. That's not what
No,
you
that's
do.
not what
That's
I
not
mean.
a
Next
sentence.
person goes. Your turn's over.
well, I mean, you
You're thinking
eventually
of
will
crazy
keep
eights.
you will keep looking
All right.
on your next turn.
Until you
But
get a pair.
but if you what happened to you, Alex, is Alex finished. He ran out of cards and he had 6 pairs. Like I think there's a point where potentially you could draw cards until you have a lot and then you don't run out of cards.
I think
And
I
that's
won
why the
because
game
I ran
keeps
out
going.
of cards.
But Alex ran out of cards and he only had 6 pairs. Chris and I keep playing, and then I run out of cards, and me and Chris have 7 pairs.
Yeah.
So if we beat Alex, that is a huge
So
flaw
Alex
in the
was a
game.
real jack over
well,
there.
that's what I mean. It's the 3-person one is different.
Yeah, we probably should have just looked it up, but
I think
We
if
don't
you
have time
run
for
out of
that.
cards, I think you win. Because you know what we're thinking? We're trying to combine it with gin rummy, which is you run out of cards and then you have a point system for the
Right.
combos that you made, which is not Go Fish. I mean, there's no way I was doing that when I was 4 years old playing Go Fish.
yeah, gin rummy is kind of like a grown man's Go Fish, right?
Kind of is, right?
No.
So once you're of age to drink gin, then you can play gin rummy
Yeah, the name has changed from Go Fish to Rummy.
to gin Go Fish.
Gin Go Fish.
I would probably rather be drinking gin and rummy than playing gin rummy.
Oh, I didn't
'cause
even
that
think
is
of that.
one of my least favorite card games.
Is Rummy what? Never mind. I was going to say what kids call rum, but
Yeah.
probably won't be calling that. Anyway, all right. So moving on. Go Fish. I would say not
a
super
bad card.
fun.
When we started playing, I said Go Fish was my least favorite card game.
Mm-hmm.
But
we
that's not
found
true.
so
That's
much
not
worse
true at
as
all.
the
I don't
night
know why I
went
Yeah.
said that.
And just for the
It's
fans
just
at home,
it's not good.
yeah, it's not good at this age. It doesn't carry through time,
Right. Like there were
Um,
games that we played afterwards that were actually good.
Yeah.
And Go Fish I think Go Fish is a good baseline to compare other games to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Better or worse than Go Fish.
And for the fans at home, the three of us, just so you guys know, sat and played what seemed like hundreds of card games for hours.
We did a
last night.
lightning round of
Nonstop.
card games. We
There
just
are
play
some
one
good ones that we
round
didn't play. Like Solitaire is a single person
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Well, Solitaire is
See, I'll get
is Solitaire just an app actually?
Yeah. Was it an app first or was it a game first?
I'll get into Solitaire. That's a good. Well,
'Cause I really
not
like
actually a good
Solitaire.
point, but Solitaire, like some of my earliest memories as a child are playing Solitaire on
Yeah.
my grandma's computer. Like actually,
Oh, so it was an app for you first.
yes, like
'Cause
I actually
that's
was an
funny.
app
Oh
for
wow!
me first.
Because I was
yeah.
gonna say I remember playing Solitaire like when we lost power or something. And I couldn't play
See,
on my
here's
grandma's
something
computer.
I think Chris might be on the other side of this, but I love Solitaire, and for computer science, I actually made like a personal project of mine was wanting to find out the win percentage of a game of Solitaire, like not like an omnipotent winning percentage, as in like not like the computer knowing what the behind
yeah.
cards are, as if it was a human playing Solitaire. What are the chances they'd win? So my strategy was I made like a big program where it would simulate.
Just for the fans, Chris has fallen asleep right now.
It would
What?
simulate cards, right? And each card would be 52 of them. They'd all have their quality. They'd have the rank and the suit, and then I'd have little things like whether or not the card was one less than and the same color. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying?
All
Like
right, man. Get onto
or
this.
or a different color. You know what I'm saying? Like
Sure,
that's how you
sure.
play Solitaire. You need a card one less than a different color to stack.
Wait,
so,
are you explaining the rules to Solitaire right now?
kind of?
Okay, go
Yeah.
on.
But anyway, so I was saying like
I want to find out how Chris disagrees with you.
Well, I'll get there. But I was playing, I was making this thing, and I made it. It's pretty good, but it's not perfect
Oh my
yet.
god! Oh, that's
It's pretty great.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a Solitaire simulator, and I was like explaining it to my roommates,
This is Andrew's worst Shark Tank pitch right now, and it's pretty good,
and they loved it.
It's great. Well, it's pretty good. My roommates like
but
it.
what I'm getting at here is that they didn't know how to play Solitaire. None of my roommates knew how to play Solitaire.
your
4
roommates.
roommates.
Really?
Yes, none of them knew how to play Solitaire, and they thought I was crazy. They thought that Solitaire is for like old people, and that I'm crazy, like dead serious. They thought I was crazy for knowing the rules to Solitaire, and I guess I am a little crazy for wanting to make a cool simulator of this Solitaire game.
Yeah, but
I was
that's
I
not
was
what we're talking
shocked.
about.
I was shocked, and
That
I
is
think
weird.
I think Chris doesn't know how to play Solitaire.
I don't know how to play Solitaire, but
Boom.
but I don't think it's crazy.
I
don't
would
know.
say-
it's just a game that I never learned. I guess I.
Wait, but it's almost
like-
as simple as war.
Yeah, I'm sure I could learn
It's
it.
like I would say it's like a step.
No,
up of
I know
war.
you could learn it. I just was completely shocked that so many people. I mean, this is 80% of my house that
do
had
you
never
think,
learned how to play Solitaire. Are you kidding me?
I bet there
Like
was.
I thought that those people were few and far between.
I wonder if there was a huge like decrease in Solitaire knowledge
I think so.
when like I don't know Game Boys started.
Probably,
yeah,
yeah.
it must be.
Because I would probably rather
like
use my Game
I was
Boy to play
actually
Solitaire.
shocked. Like, how do people know how to play these random obscure card games?
I mean, when I was younger, I would.
And I've
I
never
was-
learned Solitaire.
Yeah, that's true. But Solitaire is also a one-player game. So
Yeah, I
if you
guess
have siblings growing up and stuff,
I guess maybe
almost
we
like
just had
you
more
should
friends, huh?
yeah, maybe that's this guy's spending his childhood
I would
trying
try.
to make a robot friend that knows how to play
To
Solitaire.
play Solitaire with them. I tried to play Solitaire, but I just had all my buddies coming over and they said,
yeah.
"Come on, play some
Come on,
two-man
let's play
games,
war."
baby."
So
Yeah,
that's my rant
Because
on
when I was
Solitaire.
younger, I didn't like Solitaire. I thought it was boring. And now
Best
that
game.
I'm a grown man and a dad, well, that's not necessary. But now that I've grown up, I really enjoy solitaire.
I think solitaire is my favorite.
But
card game.
I don't play analog solitaire. Is that what you
What's
would call
that?
it? Like with cards instead of digital.
You don't play real world solitaire.
I
that
just
is
play
right.
digital
Yeah.
solitaire.
Yeah.
But I would still play. It's
it's
too
fun.
little too much
And then
work to play.
also, you got to play 3-card solitaire, right? Or no?
Is that where you draw 3 cards
Yeah.
every time you can't do it?
Yeah.
Probably. I usually do
1 card
but
solitaire is way too easy. You win
That's
like
like
25%
the,
of the
that's
time.
like the easy version.
By the way, if
yeah.
anyone's wondering, my findings were that you win about 10% of the games you play.
And about 10% of the listeners
Are still
turn off
listening.
the podcast after that.
But I need to make improvements. I'm missing a part, but I won't get too into it. I'm missing one of the
You won't get to it. You talked about it for probably 4 minutes.
Mark Cuban's out.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next logical game after Go Fish. The second game you'll ever learn, War.
Right, which we did not play.
We did
for
not
good
play
reason.
War.
I was
Just 'cause it
upset
takes
about
a while.
it for good reason.
The reason
Does
that
take a
I
while.
didn't want to play War is because it is like the longest game ever.
Yeah, but
Wow.
if you can
Almost
finish
like
it
Real
within
World War.
it ends. You know, it's not like the Monopoly. Of
Yeah,
cards.
because when
I
was actually compared to
legitimately think
Monopoly
it will
last
take
night.
over a half hour to play
it
a
takes
game
a while.
of War.
Depends how good you are, honestly.
No, unrelated.
I'm
Right.
pretty
Literally
talented.
all
I'm
luck.
pretty good at
We
War.
could have played a few rounds,
Yeah.
or like, yeah, I guess we could have just set a clock. You could just set a clock and be like, we're gonna play for 5 minutes, and
Ooh,
whoever has the most cards,
that's
at the
pretty
end
Yeah, that
intense.
would have been good.
wins.
Throwing some buzzer beaters
Do you want to do it
I
now?
don't
I
know,
got
for
the
some
podcast
reason,
running. We
War,
can just.
yeah. For some reason, War I think is a great game.
Yeah, I'd say one
It's
of my
so
Yeah, I
simple and
disagree
it's-
completely.
one of the
Really?
best feelings in the world
Yeah.
is throwing down like a king and seeing another king, and it's just like, oh boy,
And now you get
we're live.
Double War is
or like
fun.
when
Double
you
War is fun.
you both get kings
Yeah.
and then you put down 3 cards
and then you
flip,
flip
the other
them.
one.
It's like,
It's an ace. You flip all 3. You lost all your face cards.
Yeah.
This game's over.
It's
In one
intense.
turn of the cards, the game's over.
yeah.
But I just
You
think
don't
that.
get that in gin rummy. you
yeah,
know?
jeez.
But it's totally luck. Literally, War is all luck. It's
I agree with
predetermined.
that.
That's
100%. I
that,
agree with that.
that I'm not a huge fan of.
I think that's why I like it more.
Yeah.
It's interesting, I guess.
It's a good like low key
Well,
game.
you know
yeah.
what? But that game, Old Maid, that we'll get into, is almost 100% luck. I
Right.
would argue it should
I
be
know. I
100%
agree.
luck.
It's
Mhm.
you can take different paths, unlike War, where there's a set path. But like
Mhm.
Yep,
it is
still
all
luck.
luck.
Some people call War the main call of card games. Huh?
Is make
Yeah.
all luck?
Is main call a card game? No, I'm just kidding. But it's like in the same. It's in the same. It's like cousins of a card game. It's
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Wait, what was? Oh yeah. Do you guys play in War? That 2s are the ace killers or no? 'Cause
What?
I like to play like
Oh,
that.
so aces are low.
No,
Aces
aces
are high,
are
but a
high,
2 would beat it?
but a 2 can beat the ace.
I
so it's
haven't
like a circle.
before,
Yep.
but I will
Wow.
say,
I don't know. I would.
But
play
2
that.
loses
love-
to everything
that sounds
else.
fun.
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't done that before. But I will say, like one of my other favorite things about cards is like if you're playing a game and you played it for long enough, you can just add a new rule and make it more exciting. Like,
Yeah,
That's
that was
true.
something
Do
you were
like-
saying last night. Which
yeah,
is cool.
like 3s reverse or like skip players if you do double out.
Chris is just trying to play Uno over
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I honestly try to make games as close to Uno as possible.
That is fun, especially if you play like it's like when you play wiffle ball growing up. Your home field like has all these weird rules to it.
Yeah.
It's like if you play with the same group of friends card games, you could throw in like weird rules.
Right.
It's like
Exactly,
something
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
that was
Another
your
game we played, Presidents, which we'll get into, has like so many different variations that are all very, very similar. But there's
Right.
just like a little bit, depending on who you play with, probably.
Mhm.
Presidents. I'll get into them. I think that's my favorite card game.
Yeah,
You want
I
to get
love
into
it.
Presidents now?
Yeah,
I don't
love
know if Presidents is a super well known game. Look
No,
it up
I don't
if you
think
haven't
so.
played before.
I
It's a lot of fun.
feel like maybe it has
Most
other
people
names.
have heard of it.
I will
'Cause it is
say,
a very simple game.
more or less
Yeah.
how the three of us got to know each other.
Definitely.
We mentioned
Yeah,
before
that's
we all
true.
met at running camp. I knew it before, but we had a deck of cards and in our downtime played a lot of Presidents.
Yeah, we did play
That's-
a ton.
that's
Like
when it
we
started.
played
Hours
I think
of
that's
hundreds
all.
of games.
Yeah, I think that's all we played. It was, and it's for Presidents is a game that one of the benefits of it is it's very good with
A big
between 5 and 7 people. It's
Yeah,
much
it's better, I
better.
think.
We'll do a quick. How you play is it's
Yeah.
basically you start with a low card, and each card has to be higher than that. There are also clear cards, so if you can't play one, you could clear it out.
Yeah, and
And then when you-
clearing means like if your card if there's an ace and the
you
highest
can't
card
play
you have is
higher.
a queen, you can't play,
So
but you
clear
can
it.
play a clear card and it'll shove
So
away the pile.
basically, the
Which-
fun,
yeah.
a lot of the fun, I think, comes when you lose all your cards and you only have clear cards. It's pointless to play. So, you can either give, like, I think what most people do is they'll
Some
give
people
the
just
card
hold
away,
the card
or
up
hold
so
it up
people
so,
can grab it.
so whoever
Yeah.
grabs it. But how we play is you ask a trivia question, and the first person to answer gets the clear card.
Which is great.
That is so much fun.
I love
Yeah, that is
trivia.
pretty fun.
That
And that
is
was really
great.
fun at running camp. Remember when I just have this memory of, like, because you wouldn't know if someone is about to have trivia because, obviously you're blind to their cards.
Right.
So they'd be playing their cards. They have like 2 cards left in their hands. You're like, oh, there's no way. And then all of a sudden,
And then I'll be
trivia. And then, oh, it was the best feeling.
Yeah.
I would watch a game show that was presidents, where it's just a fast round of presidents, people
There's
playing.
a lot of strategy.
And then,
Yeah.
Presidents. That's
and
what I
then
like about
a
it.
trivia question round,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's. Yeah, I guess we don't need to get too into the rules. But one thing I like about presidents is that, for instance, like you can have doubles, and you can choose to start with doubles, or maybe you'd want to save your doubles and
Right.
and use them to
finish a suit.
finish a set. Yeah. So that made no sense to anyone who
Yeah,
doesn't,
who doesn't know
know
that. But look it up,
presidents,
because it is
yeah.
probably my favorite card
Yeah.
game,
Yeah,
if not
it's
top 3.
definitely one of my top ones as well.
Yeah, and actually, I think I'm pretty sure Obama has been playing it. Well, he
Yeah,
did play it
he
for
was.
8 years, but
Now he's
not.
He's the whole now.
yeah,
I heard they were thinking
He's
about
not playing it.
changing the king on the playing cards here to a picture of Obama.
really.
Yeah, to keep with the times, you know.
Joe Biden is
The
Joker.
the Joker.
And the queen is,
All
as
the
you said
queens.
before, Kim Kardashian. Obviously.
She's my queen.
That's an interesting idea. Are there cards like one thing? Getting back into the deck talk, is I really
This is
thought
our carpentry podcast. We're talking decks. We're talking gazebos.
I really like collecting. Not this isn't a hobby, I'd say, but I like collecting decks of cards with different backs. I feel like it's a really
that's
Right.
cool.
inexpensive, kind of cool
Yeah,
thing.
that is cool. It's good when you're in tours or something. pick one up.
And I feel like I bet there's some cards out there. Like maybe most of those just have different backs. They don't mess with the actual foundation of the cards, but maybe someone would have.
I have the America's Most Wanted cards. Have you guys seen those?
No,
I think I
is
might
like
have, yeah.
is the king like a really wanted
The
guy?
Ace of Spades is Osama bin Laden
Wow.
himself.
Is it
That's
actually?
insane.
Yeah.
That
Jeez.
is kind of weird.
Isn't that weird?
Kinda
They're
spooky.
real people. Like,
Oh,
which I
definitely.
guess is great. Because if you're playing the games and you recognize
And you look
someone,
up
then
and you're
it's
playing
like,
with Osama bin Laden.
Yeah,
Wait.
you look up.
oh,
Your local poker night.
Hey, got any aces?
Yeah,
Oh my god. Yeah, I just had to make one quick call.
Yeah, on the back of the cards does have like the FBI number or something.
You're somehow playing with SEAL Team 6 and Osama bin Laden.
And they didn't notice until they
No
got
one
the
knows.
ace of spades.
ooh, that would be so intense.
That'd be a great find.
That'd be a good movie.
That'd be a good headline, yeah.
Or like a. Yeah,
That would be a good movie,
short.
dude. They made it. It's called Zero Dark 30. You didn't see the last? Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Sorry, I had to sneeze.
Ooh, is that our first? I think that's
Edit
our
that
first
one out.
live on podcast sneeze.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I have a cold if the fans can't tell.
I screamed right when you sneezed, so that it sounded like
I
that was
thought
you.
that was Chris.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I know people at home probably don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
We'll keep it in.
Back to the Osama bin Laden talk.
All right, back to the.
It is
speaking
weird.
speaking of crazy guys, let's talk about Crazy Eights, aka
That's a great game.
the
Wait,
Uno.
hold on. You just pointed at me saying, speaking of crazy guys. But were you talking about me or Osama bin Laden?
Are you saying Alex looks like?
I'm talking about
Osama
you
bin
for
Laden?
having that deck, but
Okay.
just owning that deck makes you a
Well, it's
crazy
not, yeah,
eight.
It's not mine. It's my family's.
Oh, sorry.
We each have one.
All right, Crazy Eights.
My dad dished him out saying, "We'll catch him one day."
This was last week, right?
Like, Dad, did you not watch Zero Dark?
Oh, it's
30?
like that game that. Remember that episode of The Office where they put the cards on their head, like
Yeah,
a game
yeah.
we play, Indian poker.
We'll get to it. Yeah.
Talk to, but yeah, and it said like a little whatever, like I'm Hispanic or something.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Oh,
remember?
that one. That
Yeah.
one.
And you were supposed to treat
Yeah.
them like
Yeah,
they
you're
were.
supposed to treat them like that. Yeah, you guys could play with your
That'd
most
be
wanted
funny.
one,
Yeah.
like Osama bin Laden. All right, enough.
Yeah,
Fans
oh,
are probably saying enough, guys. Enough of Osama bin Laden talk.
Enough of
Let's
the
get on to
office.
the Crazy Eights, okay? Crazy Eights, aka the Uno of card games,
Wait,
right?
Uno is the Uno.
Uno
of
is
card
a
games.
card
No.
game,
You're right.
No, it's
Uno
not.
of
Uno is
playing
Uno.
card games.
but it's a
Playing
game
cards.
with cards.
Oh, come on, those are
Uno
totally
is
different.
all right. I can't. We're not having this argument. Uno is for sure a card game.
Yeah.
If that's what you're arguing, you're right. Uno.
If
Crazy
this is
Eights
Uno, I
the
might call
Uno
Crazy Eights
of the
Dos.
traditional
or I
playing
guess
cards.
Ocho. Huh? Thoughts?
Ooh, that's what they should call it, huh?
So you have to say when you have 8
Loco
cards.
Ocho.
Ocho.
That's what they should call it.
Yeah, Loco Ocho.
All right.
Ooh.
Sorry. Get into it. Get into the.
Okay,
Crazy
so
Eights.
Crazy Eights is it's very similar to Uno. It's just There's no draw 4 though, or reverse or
right.
skip.
There's none of the wacky
So I guess
cards.
Uno's a little better in that way.
It almost makes me feel like Crazy Eights was the original game,
Yeah.
and a group of friends decided to make rules as they went,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden they have reverse.
They're like, why are we giving Bicycle all our money, right?
What else?
Well, the
Yeah.
benefit of Uno, I guess, is that there's way more than 52 cards. So I think it'll.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely.
Way more? How many cards are there?
Maybe not. I don't know.
It's like 53 or 54.
Yeah, just barely. It's just a joke. It's 52, but there are
Just
two
the joke.
jokers.
And that, bicycle fun fact.
Even
card.
Uno surprisingly uses the Bicycle fun facts.
Yeah, so you play, you put, it's all suit related. You put down cards of the
No.
same suit.
Yes.
And then if you can't play, your second option is to
wait.
play a card of the same rank. So say all the spades have gone around and there's the 7 of spades on the board. You have no spades, but you have a 7 of
Wait.
any other suit.
You could just do either one at the start.
Right. Okay. Yes. You can play either of those.
I
but-
think you're letting your strategy leak out, man. Is this your strategy?
No, it's not. Maybe it is actually. But anyway, fine. You can play either the same rank or the same suit. But typically you'd play the same suit just because it's more common. And then if you can't play the same rank or the same suit, then you could play an 8, which will allow you to change the suit and keep playing. Or if you can't,
8 is a wild card.
Yeah,
so
it's-
you can
it's the
pick
wild
whatever
card in
suit
Uno.
you want.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. It's not based off the 8's suit.
and if you can't play the 8, then or
You draw.
or you don't have a card, then you draw, and you draw until you can't.
It's
You keep
Levitard.
drawing until you
Holy
get a
cow.
card, which is
Last night there was a
exhilarating.
drought. We
Yeah,
were drawn for
seriously.
ages. I feel like.
Yeah,
There's a heart drought.
that's always fun.
I think Crazy Eights is in my top 3 games. Crazy
Yeah.
Eights is a great game because it's
It's
simple,
simple, yeah.
but it's
Mhm.
also fun and there's some strategy involved. So it's
Right.
it's just enough.
I would argue that that's just as much luck as Old Maid, though, because you don't really know.
But I
There's
feel
not
like
a whole lot of strategy.
with the eights
Very little, I
involved,
guess,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't have to use this.
No,
Crazy
you're right.
Eight
I guess
right
it is a
now.
little more because, like I was saying, with my strategy of like playing all the same suit, or maybe perhaps you would want to you'd want to diversify your suits so you can always play
Right.
and always look good. You know what I mean?
Diversify your suits, pinstripes, baby. Yeah, and even when you play the Crazy Eight, like if you have a lot of diamonds in your hand, you could say diamonds,
Right.
or you could throw off the opponent and say like spades.
Yeah, and get in
to
their
make
head.
them want to switch it back to diamonds.
All right.
Yeah,
So
and I think
I think there's more
good game.
strategy than Old Maid for sure, but it's not enough strategy to like stress you out during the game.
mhm.
You
and
could easily win without thinking about the strategy at all.
yeah, and Crazy Eights I think is like any good card game or maybe there's some outliers, but you should be able to learn in like 30 seconds. You know,
Yeah.
like a lot of the
that's
games.
something I wanted to bring up here. Sorry, go
A lot
on.
of the games we played yesterday, like I had played in the past, but I was like, oh yeah, I don't remember how to play. But if someone tells me once, I'll be
Right.
ready to play instantly.
Something I think about card games is no one is as good as explaining a card game as they think they are. You know,
That's
when you're
true.
when you're
You don't
hearing
say
someone
it.
explain a card game, like it never makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
Never.
That's a
I've
good
never
point.
had it make sense.
And then you play one round and you
right?
got
Yeah,
it. But
it's like you have to. It has
it's
to be
like,
like a physical learning.
oh yeah, and then fives are high, but sixes are low,
It's
and then
like,
you reverse.
It's
Right.
like that card game set, not playing cards, but you know
Yeah,
that game
yeah,
set.
yeah.
I'm not even going to try to explain it to the fans because it's like
right, you have to play.
Look
it.
up
you
set,
just
but
have to
yeah,
play
it's,
the
it's one of
game,
those
like-
games you learn instantly
Yeah.
once you get it.
When you try to explain it, you're like explaining it knowing the strategy too. So like you're trying to say other things and you're like trying to explain from the basics up, but you have
Yeah.
to know all the rules to understand the basics too.
Yeah.
So it's
But the same thing
very
with set. You
strange.
play one round. You play one
Right.
round of almost any game,
Almost any card game, yeah.
and it works. And that's what. Let's get into this next game. Old Maid. I feel like I love this game, and you guys didn't know how to
I
play.
never played it.
So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just super basic though. I mean, all it is you deal out the whole deck. You have your cards. One of the cards is the Old Maid,
Which
and
is we played with the Queen of Clubs.
Yeah, Queen of Clubs, and we took away the Queen of Spades, so there was no match for the Old Maid, which is the point. And the goal of the game is you find pairs, you put them down like Go Fish, but eventually the Old Maid is hanging around.
Right.
'cause
So
it
the
never
thing
has
is,
a pair.
you don't draw from the deck. You
Yeah.
find pairs by taking from someone else's hand.
Yeah, you blindly
Without
take from
seeing.
someone else's hand.
So you could be taking the Old Maid without knowing.
Mhm.
But you have to keep a poker face so the fans don't, or so the fans, so the people you're
We do
playing with-
we do play cards in a stadium usually.
so the people you're playing with don't know. You guys should just look it up because, as we stated, no one knows how to explain the rules
Yeah.
of card
I
games.
know. I think that was pretty good.
But it is simple. But it was fun because
I like the game a lot.
because there's basically no strategy at all
Yeah.
involved.
But then when
Yeah.
someone pulls the Old Maid, like, ooh,
Like
watch
every
out.
time I pulled the Old Maid, I would like start laughing to myself because I had the worst poker face.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's also a good feeling when you watch
Someone
when you watch someone grab the
Oh,
old maid.
yeah.
Yeah.
You give him a little wink, you know.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah,
I
that was
mean,
an alright game.
not much to say about Old Maid. What
Yeah.
did you
I
like
think
Old
that
Maid?
It was a
Chris?
solid
I was
game. I
pleasantly
mean,
surprised with it.
I like a good high energy card game. For the most part, I think a lot of my favorite games are the ones that involve like slapping or some sort of. So I mean,
okay, we'll get into that.
We'll get into that, but I mean, I don't
You
know.
got a lot to say
Nice,
about your
a nice
slaps.
little change of pace.
You mean slapping the cards?
Yeah,
Not slapping your opponents like you were doing last night.
Not slapping the old maid.
Yeah, you're right. Old Maid is
Yeah, I
is
think
very,
we differ there because I don't
quiet game.
I don't really like the high intensity card games that
Mhm.
much. I would rather have not that I would rather have Old Maid, but I need something a little bit in the middle. Like trivia is enough high intensity for me in Presidents.
Right.
You know, it gets
Mhm.
exciting, but I don't know. It feels too much like a sport when you have to do slapping and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like, all right, I'm playing cards for God's sake.
I'm going to disagree.
I guess if I'm in like a low key chill mode, I'm down for a game of war or a game of old maid.
But,
But
yeah.
like
Guess what? That's the best thing about
That's
card
a beauty.
games.
Exactly.
That's a beauty.
Look at all the things
you play
we
one
can
game
do.
of slap,
Right,
you
'cause
get
I'm
worked up, you're a little tired. Transition straight into
Well, I
old
guess
maid.
I do love the game Spit.
Yeah,
And
Spit's
that's
great.
like the highest.
That's
yeah.
a game I've been
card
playing a
I
lot
know.
recently. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't get to play
I
Spit
know, yeah.
or Spoons or Tongues.
Yes,
you know
I
that game?
played Spoons the other day.
Spoons is
You know, I don't know
incredibly
if I've
fun.
ever played Spoons,
I
but I
played,
know. I just know what it is.
Spoons might be my favorite card
Isn't
game.
Spoons actually like a sport? Don't you have to like run across the room at one point?
No.
Wait,
What kind of spoons are you playing?
Isn't it like you have to grab a spoon?
Yeah, but usually you
That's
just
it.
put them in the middle of the
Oh,
table
oh.
or whatever.
Maybe
But
I have played it,
but
but the spoon
that would
was
be
like
fun,
on
though.
the other side of the gymnasium or something.
oh,
Ooh,
that'd
This
be
might have been
cool.
a relay
I feel like that's
race.
less
That'd be a great gym game.
No, that's less fun.
You know what I think it was? There's a bunch of spoons to start, right?
skill.
Yeah, so you start with
It's like
Minus one
It's
to
just
keep
musical
all-
chairs.
It's like musical chairs.
There's
Musical
one less
spoons.
spoon, and then another fun way is you could play with tongues, and that's more fun. Well, I'll get to this first. The spoon part is.
Wait,
Well, hold on. Let me get to the spoon
you have to
part.
grab each other's tongues.
Yes.
You have to grab one tongue that isn't your own.
Yesterday when we were playing Crazy Eights, at one point Andrew grabbed my tongue.
I got
I saw Andrew
confused.
licking his chops over there.
But yeah, for that game, you have one less spoon. So if we were to play us three, there'd
Right.
be two spoons. And the person who's first to get 4 of a card. So you start with 4, and then one person picks up a card from the deck, passes it. The next person picks up a card. They have 5 cards for a brief moment, and then they have to drop one and send it along to the next
Oh, right,
person.
right.
And you try to make 4 of the same card. And when you do, you grab a spoon. And if you see anyone else grab a spoon,
I have definitely played
then you
this.
grab a spoon.
Oh,
And
right,
that's
right.
fun because if it's a little harder with
'Cause it can be sneaky
spoons
a little bit.
because you can be sneaky about it. But that's why I like tongues better, is because if with tongues you stick your tongue out. Sorry, we never.
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I'm
clarified
getting
that.
uncomfortable because you said you like
I
tongues.
like tongues better.
You
That's how we're gonna start this episode. I like tongues better. And
And
welcome.
You stick your tongue out, and you can be really sneaky with that because you have to be looking at people's faces, and it's really funny. And then sometimes people will accidentally lick their lips because they're nervous, and then people
or because you're waiting for the tongue to come out.
It's just really funny. It's more funny than
That's
spoons,
funny,
I
yeah.
think.
Spoons is
So
funny.
that's a
Yeah.
really good game. And then if you're the last person, you're out, and that's it. You just don't want to be last. And
Right,
then eventually, in
what
the
I've
final
played-
2, it's just the winner is the person who has 4.
This definitely, I think I did play in a gymnasium because I think this was during when I was a camp counselor. We played spoons, and the last round, the spoon was far away.
That sounds
so it was
that's a
when you
great.
saw the person get up to run for the spoon.
Oh,
that's a
the
great
final
camp
players
game.
way
would
better.
race to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Because it doesn't make sense to have all of them over there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess it still kind of does.
But it's
It's
boring
kinda
because
hectic.
it's just if you get him, you win. You know. So
Right.
it's
yeah,
let's
the
add a
last
little-
round is always anticlimactic because it's more luck depending on who's dealing the deck
Yeah.
because they have a better chance of getting
Right.
their card.
And it's just
Um,
they're grabbing the spoon, so it's not like
Right, and
when
that's
there's
it.
8 people.
I was actually
See.
debating it with people the other day about whether or not if you see someone going for the spoon,
Hmm.
you can beat them to it in the final round.
I think
Wow.
that's how we played
I
the,
think you
the
can.
last time I
I
played.
think you can because the rules should be as soon as someone has 4,
So you could fake
you
someone
can
out.
go
you're saying?
first.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. And then if they grab it,
They're out. They should be out
Sayonara.
then if you
That's
fake them out.
interesting.
Then.
That's interesting.
mm.
I think there should be a game show. I'm really into my card games turned into game shows where it's spoons, but also American Ninja Warrior. So the spoon is on the other end of the 2-person American Ninja Warrior, and they have to beat the obstacle course and then grab the spoon.
Is that pure obstacle course, or do they play spoons?
No, they play the
first?
card game first.
Yeah.
That's like a really intense warm up.
And there's
as soon as someone gets 4 cards,
The American Ninja Warrior announcers are still as excited though. He's passing the card. He's passing the card. He's kept the card.
The forearm strength involved here.
Yeah. So
Slow-mo videos.
Spoons is another great game. Let's get into those slap games.
Well,
really
wait,
quick.
hold on. Because now we're getting into some of my least favorite games that we played.
Yeah.
I think the slap one was my least favorite. So before the slap
yeah.
one, we played
Indian poker, yeah.
which
Yeah.
was not fun at all.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to
Well,
say.
I'd say
I like it.
bear in mind we played this last night at
Yeah,
what
yeah.
12:45
I just mean it wasn't fun
a.m.
when we were
See, I
playing.
think that excuse is bad. I think the best card games happen really late at night.
Yeah, but I was
No,
really
I was
it's like-
tired and sick.
I think if
It's like
had,
we were low energy. It doesn't
Yeah.
not necessarily that it was at night, but we had
Speak
low
for
energy.
yourself.
I am.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
what we're doing.
I was low energy.
yeah, Andrew was sticking his tongue out all over the place. Trying to
Wake
get-
up, Chris. I
Grab
feel like
the
this
sun.
game would be a good game. So the idea of Indian poker is you have one card and you put it on your forehead so you can't see it, but everyone else can.
Mhm.
And then you have to convince other people and find out for yourself, basically, if you have a high or low card and if you should switch or not. So the goal is you want the highest card. So if you see someone with a high card, you try to convince them to switch it. If you see someone with a low card, you try to convince them to keep it.
Mhm, but
Basically.
my problem with the game is like it's hard because like obviously you want I don't know. It's like when would you convince someone? I guess like trying to get them to keep it, you'd only do if they had a low card, right? Like you're not trying to help
Right.
them out.
Well, it's like the scene from Princess Bride. Have you guys seen Princess Bride?
No, we've talked about this in the podcast.
Not in a while. But
That scene, the Vicini
No,
scene.
I'm saying we're talking about the fact that we haven't seen it. On the
Oh,
podcast,
really?
I think. Yeah.
Okay, well, there's a
Every
scene
episode.
in Princess Bride where one guy is trying to think like you try to think like one step ahead of your opponent. So you'd say like, "Oh, you should really switch," when they should actually stay.
It's like
but
reverse
then,
psychology.
But then
kind
that
of.
person is
Yeah.
thinking, "I should." They're telling me to switch, so
Right.
that means that I should probably stay. But they know that I'll think I should probably stay, so I'm actually going to switch.
Yeah.
And then you just keep repeating that
I
process
get that.
until you are
I
so
think
confused
in
and have
theory
no
it
idea what's
could-
going on.
Right. I think in theory it could be a lot of fun. I think it would be really fun if you had a group of like 15 people and it's like a dinner party. Like in the office when they were
Huh.
doing that thing, they did it for like minutes. So it's like you spend almost an hour
Wow.
talking with people
and then you're
and
like
saying if you should switch or not. And then you could take it all into account.
and
be
what
like,
and
all right,
like
I
and
gotta
like you
figure
could like
this out.
form alliances, be like, all right,
Yeah.
like we're in this together. Like this is what you have. Like
You know
don't
what'd
tell
be a
them the
good
number, but
game
like you
show?
have a good card.
You know what would be a good game show is Indian poker, except also Survivor. So they just have to form alliances.
Based on their cards.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Do you think Indian poker is like offensive? Probably, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
well,
No doubt.
Is it Indian like
Now it's
Native
definitely
now,
getting offensive.
now it's offensive. Chris.
right when you start learning what type of
All right, next up.
let's
Even
get
more
off this
offensive
topic.
somehow. Egyptian rat
All right,
screw.
all right, yeah. 'cause
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why I don't like this game is the name.
Bad name.
Yeah.
What
I
is
don't know
up
why
with
it's
this
called
name?
Bad
Egyptian rat
name.
screw. I
'Cause
think
I've
this is a
heard-
popular game too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it is a
People play this
popular
game.
Yeah, for sure.
game.
But
I
yeah.
think it's a popular name.
my son.
Kid's name.
Yeah, so the game is basically you just put down cards willy nilly. It's a turn based game, and
This
and
is another reason why it's like you have to be playing this game to
Yeah.
get the rules.
well,
which is
I'll try to
frustrating as
explain
you
it.
play.
If there's a sandwich, which is like 5-3-5, or similar to that, or 2 cards in a row, you slap the pile, which is how the game is won on slaps, more or less. And then also,
well, caresses if you're Chris.
yeah, that's true. We'll get to that. And then also there's face cards, and that part is actually really tough to explain.
Yeah,
Look it up.
So
at
I'm
home.
not
We're
gonna
not
explain
going to
that
talk
part.
about the
But
strategy
slapping
involved.
is how you win the game. And Chris, your slaps were just ridiculous.
It's funny. I don't know if it was this game or another slap based game that I used to play with some friends at college, but we all I ended up with the nickname Gentle Slaps.
Wait, you all did or just you?
Just me.
No, I mean, Chris's slaps were
Yeah,
like
your slaps are gentle.
I think I'm nice and
no, but they weren't even like a slap. It was like he
I
would
would
put
just
all his fingers on the thing.
Yeah,
just
it
grab
but a
the
weird
cards,
way,
kinda.
like one at a time.
It was
like-
super
And you said
uncomfortable.
like a nursery rhyme while you're doing it, so like, you
Yeah.
acted like a really creepy guy. You're like, ooh, boop, 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 boop. And then you grab the cards, it's like,
and
Chris.
somehow I did that all before you guys had the time
Yeah.
to slap it.
all 5 fingers. It was super strange. Not gonna lie, that was
Yeah.
something that made me.
See,
very
I
uncomfortable.
honestly didn't even notice it until you started saying
Oh
it.
my God.
Because
well, the best
I guess
part
I
of
was
that game
thinking too
is
much.
when
Maybe I was
is when
thinking too much about the
Well,
strategy.
I think
2
in my
people slap it and it's really loud. It's like, oh, and then you the dust settles and you see whose hand was under first. But with Chris, it's like,
well, in my
Yeah,
opinion,
you're right.
I think if you're winding up, that's just time
I agree with
lost.
that.
You know?
But that's another one you could fake people out
Yeah.
by winding
yeah,
up.
definitely.
because then they slap, they lose, right?
Right. If
Yeah.
you slap, you have to burn a card. So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
not the worst thing, but yeah.
Yeah, geez,
'Cause that's
Egyptian
another one
Rad's
like
true, though.
spoons.
That's a game that I want to know the origin of the name.
Of the name, right?
That's terrible.
I feel like someone
Rat
just
screw?
made it up. It's like when you're a kid and you make up names. It's like, all right, I want to play Smishy Smashy Shmoo Shmoo.
That game's somehow better than
Right?
Egyptian
Yeah,
Rad's
it's a better name than Egyptian Rat Screw. I
Crazy.
don't
Oh,
want to say it.
Oh, you're talking smishy, smashy, smoosh.
Next game we played was Smishy Smashy Shmoo Shmoo. And Chris got the nickname Hard Slapper on this one.
This team, totally different strategy.
All right. So,
So is that all the games we played?
yeah, we're pretty far in here. I feel like we've covered most of the games that I'm.
There must be classics that
Thinking of-
we've missed. Oh, Gin Rummy we didn't talk about. We didn't
Yeah,
play that.
I like. That
I don't
game.
like that game.
Alex doesn't like
Too
it.
much. It's way too long, and also I don't really know how to play. The only times I've played are like the first round as it's been described. Like someone's explaining the game to me in the first round, and then I get to the end. It's been, I don't know, an hour and a half of me not knowing how to play,
Yeah.
and then somehow I have to tally up my points. I have no clue.
The one other game I don't think we mentioned that everyone plays is BS or Bull or
Oh yeah.
Bull Beep.
Yeah.
What?
Can I say one funny thing about this game? So
Or
I learned this
Beep
game.
S.
I learned this game at summer camp, and
S is another one with a bad name.
yeah, but I was told it was called Bull, but I didn't I didn't know Bull was in reference to Bull Beep.
Well, that's like with
so
presidents.
I thought the game was called Bowl.
Oh wait, well, there's a game that I played called Stone Soup growing up.
Yeah.
Which is the same game except it's like themed cards.
Oh, that's
So
fun.
it's like you say, all right, I'm putting 2 carrots in, but it could be 1 carrot in a stone. So you put that in a bowl.
That makes
you
it
know,
way
Yeah,
more
it's a
confusing.
bowl.
Do you have to assign the
I'm
like
sure there's an
rank
order.
to it?
There's got to be an order.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I'm not
Still
sure. I don't
confusing.
remember.
Yeah, I forgot about that game. That game is fun. My rant with BS is that I think it's very not fun if you don't have a lot of people because yeah. Did I just contradict myself?
That game's fun, but my rant is that game's not fun.
Well, the problem is that if people are timid and they don't want to call BS for a while, which is fine, that's a valid strategy. But if everyone has that same strategy, like, okay, what I'll say is I think the best strategy is to not call BS for a while. That's probably the optimal strategy.
Sure.
But if everyone has that strategy, then the pile's going to get huge, and eventually someone
Someone's
will call
gonna get
BS,
screwed over.
and then all of a sudden someone has every 7
That's
or
some
every
BS,
5,
right.
and then you can't
And then it gets no
win
fun.
because it gets boring.
There you go. Like
Right,
that.
'cause
I think
yeah,
that
you're right, you're
I
right.
honestly think that happens more
goes,
more often than not.
BS,
It's a
1-6
little bit of a
BS.
flawed game, which is
Yes.
I think why it's
Why it's
not
so aptly
No
named.
way it's not. Yeah, it's a BS game. BS of a game. It's. I would never consider that a classic card
Nah.
game.
See, but
And
I
for that
think
reason.
I
people
played a lot of it though.
really like BS. Like I've found over time that I'm more in the minority when I
I
tell
think you're
people
right
this,
because
and-
I'm with you. I don't like the game.
and yeah,
that
and it's
much.
like but it's fun.
It's never a game I'm
It
jumping
is
to
fun.
play.
I like it in theory. Now I think it's partially a drinking game these days too, which is could
Yeah.
possibly be why
And
people
actually,
are into playing.
I will after that rant I will say peanut butter because that was a complete lie.
There he
No,
is.
you don't know peanut
is that
butter,
what you do
Alex?
when you
yeah.
BS?
No, that was the truth. But yeah, when you say BS, that is a fun part of the game.
Yeah.
Is when you say you
Yeah,
lie.
yeah.
Oh, peanut butter,
Then you got
and
away.
and also where did that come from? That's
Yeah,
another
that makes
no
obscure
sense.
thing.
I feel like that
Jeez.
might be a stone soup thing.
Yeah, what do you
Many-
say in stone soup?
I don't know, bouillon cube. It's like another ingredient. That is true. Like you get away with a really big lie, and you're like, oh, what else can I lie about? I
Yeah.
have all this power. What can
bring
I
it
lie
into
about?
As long as
every
you
lie?
lie
Yeah.
and then say peanut butter after it doesn't matter, you can do. You can say
do
you can lie
anything.
about
If you
anything.
listen back to some of our old
I am so
episodes,
convincing. I could do anything.
I'd probably say peanut butter 2 or 3 times an episode. You know, get some
Yeah,
lessons.
sometimes Chris whispers into the mic. I can't hear him, but afterwards I hear peanut butter. Like when he said, "I like the beach." Peanut butter.
This will come back.
See, that's a good idea for a game. We should make that game like real life BS. See how many times you can lie and say peanut butter without people noticing.
I do like. It'd be another good episode to do. Would be those weird games where it's like, all right, everyone's in a room, and one person's the assassin and one person's the detective.
Yeah,
You get to
yeah.
shake everyone's hand.
Oh, that game's fun. And they
That's
rub
like-
your palm.
Kind of a. Obviously, it's not a card game, but it's in like the same realm as card games. for me,
Yeah,
you know?
that's true. Yeah,
Where it's like a weird strategy-based game. Those are fun. Those
Yeah.
are great.
great. Yeah.
You know?
All right, cool. Are we ready to move on to our next section of the show?
Yeah.
So.
I guess
All right. So before we get to ratings, I want to do this next section of the show. I like to call it Seasons Riddles.
Oh, it's bad.
That's right.
God.
It's making a comeback.
Jeez.
Season's riddles from episode.
Have you come around to season riddles or no? I guess you are.
I think the name is
Yeah,
still
you had
bad,
s-
but
you had-
actually, you know what? I guess I like the name.
You had smoke
Yeah.
bursting out of your ears.
Yeah,
last season's
I
episode.
embarrassed
home.
myself in Seasons Riddles.
We got-
what was
Guys
that?
at home,
Episode
listen.
48?
Something like that.
48, maybe 49. Summer
48.
activities.
48. Yeah. So check that out if you want or not. This one will
Listen to
hopefully
Andrew
go a little
having
better.
a breakdown.
Yeah, I definitely
on
had a
summer
breakdown on
activities.
pod and could not get
a
over it.
rhyme scheme based breakdown.
All right, so here we go. This version of Seasons
Explain it.
Riddles.
Explain to the folks what it
Right,
is.
so in this version of Seasons Riddles, I will say some riddles that correspond to some card games we maybe played or didn't play or talked about or didn't
Nice.
talk about. And they're riddles. They're a little tricky. So
Ooh.
first person to get it will win. And as always, in Chris's version, the last one is worth 5 points. So none of them matter until that one. But we'll see how it
Whose
goes.
line is it anyways? The points don't
Yeah.
matter.
All right, here we go.
And I'm Colin Mockery.
Somehow.
All right. I was a believer, and then I saw her face. Now I want to leave her. Because if I'm alone in a room with her, my chances of winning are taking a turn for the worst.
Old maid.
Boom.
God.
Old maid. That's right.
I just
That
got.
was good. Wait,
yeah.
was that? Was
Did that rhyme?
Smash Mouth?
That was Smash Mouth, yeah.
That was good, yeah.
Rhyme
Also
scheme was a little
rhyme.
off.
It was like the A A B C D.
But I like the, yeah.
The rhyme scheme that got all the way down to H somehow.
Yeah. I just like the, and then I saw her face part. That's what inspired everything.
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
the
good.
believer line. All right.
Shout out Shrek.
Here's another one. Ready for the next one. His point is 1 to Alex and 0 to Chris. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and when he colonized the land, the natives taught him a game that only needs one card and one hand.
Indian
Indian
poker.
poker?
Yeah, that was too easy, so I'll call it a tie because I feel like you both knew it.
Yeah.
But
I would
you
argue
had
you
to-
don't even need a hand.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's called Indian poker because this is going to get very offensive. So maybe we should beep
That
this out.
answers Chris's
But-
question from earlier.
You know, like a very racist Indian headdress
Sure.
with the feather.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's called Indian poker. Cause
It's
you
like
look
the feather.
Oh,
Native
yeah.
American.
okay.
Jeez.
But I love all people, and I'm not judgmental.
Mhm.
And I feel like we should probably cut this part
Amen.
out. Right next.
We'll probably keep it.
All right. Next one. Hey, guys. My 2-year-old cousin is visiting. Mind if he stays? He just started watching Grays. Please don't spoil it for him, or he might get very angry on a whim. And that will be fun for no one, cleaning up cards in the hot sun.
Did you pick up?
Yep.
That didn't rhyme at all.
Yeah, it did.
That did not rhyme. That was prose, dude. That was not poetry.
He was watching Grays.
Yeah, he was
Grey's
watching
Anatomy?
Grays. So,
Yeah.
Wait, read that one over.
hey, guys. My 2-year-old cousin.
Read it like a poem. Read the rhyme. You have to have a beat
All right,
to
all
it,
right,
so
all
we know the
right.
rhyme.
Hey, guys.
Should I drop a beat?
My 2-year-old cousin is visiting. Mind if he stays? He just started watching Grays. Please don't spoil it for him, or he might get very angry on a whim, and that will be fun for no one. Cleaning up cards in the hot sun.
Where's the what's whim rhyme with?
Him.
Oh,
But you like
maybe
you
I'm
enunciate-
missing that.
Him. Anyone. Him.
Wait, what is cleaning out? What's the sun rhyme with?
One. That will be fun for no one. All
Mm.
right. Point is,
wow, that was
All
good
right.
actually.
All right, we'll get it to Alex.
whatever.
later.
It's not. It wasn't great. Alex, you win. All right, but this
He's
one
playing
is
much
for
Grays.
all the marbles as
Black
usual.
pointer.
All right, here we go. A tie here isn't actually a push. This game is a favorite of Obama and George W. Bush.
Presidents.
Nope.
Ooh.
Solitaire.
A tie here isn't a push.
Oh, war.
War.
That's a great
This one
one.
got a little political.
Yeah,
Wow,
tough
that's a
one.
good
I
one.
was hoping I would stump you guys on that.
Oh,
one.
it's because
Yeah.
it's because George W. Bush and Obama love going to war.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
love taking our country into foreign lands.
Well,
and
I
going
wanted
war.
to throw the presidents in there. And
Yeah, that was
trick
the
you
capital.
guys.
That was a good one.
So, but
That
the
was good.
big one was
Yeah.
the tie isn't a push. So
But a tie in presidents is there's
There's
a
no-
skip, so I guess it is a push,
it's a push
right?
of
You
sorts.
can play the same
Um,
card.
no,
Let's get to ratings.
Yeah.
that's a week.
But enough.
Well, that's
All
what I'm
right,
saying. It's
so
not
the winner
presidents.
of this episode of Seasons Riddles is Alex.
Somehow it's
Mm.
Andrew. He's still
I
bitter
win again.
Yeah.
Andrew-
I think
Andrew
I
changed
got,
the
I got
rules.
crushed last time too, Alex. You're pretty good at this game.
Yeah.
All right, so
Great.
that's Seasons Riddles.
Somehow I'm embarrassed. Somehow I'm very ashamed.
No one wants to be good at seasons. Right?
Hopefully you guys played along at home. All right, we're moving on to our next section of the show, ratings. For the listeners at home, we like to rate our hobbies on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the best, not ace high, or yeah, on a scale of ace
one
to
is not the best.
on a yeah,
Say
but
one being the best.
yeah, no, but I'm joking
Oh.
because ace is high.
What if we
Oh,
ranked
you're
him
the
like
Joker.
I am the
A bit of a
Joker.
wild man over here.
a wild card of sorts?
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
think-
say let's not rate it any differently. That would
I
be
think
confusing.
if anyone's how about this for a hot take?
Mhm.
If anyone's the Joker of our podcast, it's Billy from the March Madness episode because he replaced Andrew like a Joker replaces a lost card.
Ooh.
How about that?
Interesting.
Yeah, that's good.
He was lost, but now he's found.
Yeah. And he's meaningless to me, too.
And I'll
Totally
throw him
useless
away
in the
if I
grand
need
scheme of
to.
things. Okay. So the ratings are on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. And we also always give a yay or nay whether or not we will continue the hobby. So let's start. Chris, I'm going to start with you. Card
Right.
games.
Card games. So I said...
And this is, sorry, to fully clarify, card games with regular bicycle playing cards or similar ones.
We're not talking
but those
cards
kind of
against
cards,
humanity or anything.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
trap.
comparison.
and no gambling.
gambling
games.
No gambling,
Yeah.
even though I have been known
And
to
not
gamble
drinking
on a
games
game of
also.
Go Fish.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on drinking games. That could be another thing.
Yeah.
Whole episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I grew up playing a lot of card games. Recently, I've had a renaissance of card games. I played the other night at the 4th of July. We had a great time sitting around on a blanket playing some card games to pass the time until the fireworks came out. Whew, that was fun.
That's why you were so good at these games. You were
Yeah, I was warming up all week.
Gentle slaps, getting his weekly fix.
I will say I don't think it's a hobby for me just because, like, I don't really have a desire to get better at Crazy Eights, I guess, you know?
Sure.
I do like playing it, but it's not something I'm going to, like, go out
See,
of my
okay,
way
but to play devil's advocate here, in the Bob Ross episode, you said that you enjoyed painting not to get better, but just to do it.
Yeah.
I would argue that card games, you don't have to want to get better to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because you're never
Exactly.
going to
That's
get
what I said.
better at solitaire.
Well, I feel like you're using that as a negative.
No, I'm just saying
It
it's
isn't
not
a hobby of yours because you don't want to get
I
better.
think it's more of an activity. It's more of a thing I'll
Okay.
throw in. We need if anyone's tight with Webster, what's
Yeah,
a
we
hobby?
need some-
what's an
we need some
activity?
definitions.
No, we know.
Yeah. I
If
guess we
anyone
know.
knows, it's us.
8 out of 10, yay.
Holy cow, getting right into it.
Good times.
Closing statements were brief.
We'll be playing again soon.
Good. So, yay. Okay, wow.
Yeah. Just, I mean, even some of the games that we talked about today, I'm like, maybe we play this right after we record. I'm down for game spoons.
Right, ooh.
All right,
Chess.
Alex.
Okay. I'll get into my... Chris, the gentle slapper, that was a great rating.
Thank you.
I'll get into mine.
Alex, the heavy slapper.
Yeah.
I don't think I slapped once during that game.
No, I think you were asleep.
I probably haven't played card games much since running camp, actually. Like,
Wow.
I think you guys play a lot more card games than I do,
Yeah,
which I'm just
probably.
now realizing. But it's not because I'm against them. I think if people brought it up that they wanted to play, I would be into it. So I do enjoy it. I think the social aspect is what I enjoy most of it. Like thinking about an 8-person game of Presidents sounds awesome.
It's my kind of
You know,
evening.
not that I didn't like playing with just 3 of us, but the more people and if you're all friends, like that
It's
sounds
really
so much fun.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great way.
Oh,
and
we
it's
didn't.
a great
When
way to
we were
meet
talking
people.
about presidents, we didn't even get into the trading aspect, which is a huge
Oh, right, you're
fun
right.
part of it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Whatever.
They should call that war. Or they should call it just politics in general. There's so much involved. And you if you're playing with a big group of people, it's a great way to like break the ice and meet people.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
is basically how we met playing
Yeah.
Presidents. So I think
That's
I
true.
really think it's
Got a special place for us.
and this card games have been around since feels like the dawn of mankind. Clearly they're here to stay, you know?
They're
they're
not
not going
going
away. So I got to give it a yay. I got to give it a high rating cuz I like playing. I'm going to agree with Chris. The gentle slapper. It's an 8 out of 10
There
yay.
we go.
I love it. And I think this means it's a war between me and Chris because we're tied.
We're tied.
Give me your next 3 backup ratings.
It was a 4, 5, 7, 10.
ace, 2. No!
All right.
It's an Ace Taylor.
I'll go here. So I like card games a lot. I was originally unsure if I wanted to go yay here because I don't know if I'll continue playing as much as I'd like to because it's fun, but it isn't something that I don't know.
But you wouldn't like if next week we hung out and we brought it up.
I would
turn it
I would
down?
love to play.
That's
yeah.
why. That's because I'm not going
Yeah.
to bring it up most of the time, but I would never turn it down. I think.
Yeah. And I think another
Compared
thing
to most
we
things.
we missed we didn't touch on in this episode as we are getting older, it's fun to just kind of like for a little chill time you can, have a beer and play cards.
Yeah.
That's a nice little
Not drinking game style, but like
right,
we
but
did
just
last
kind of
night.
hang out.
Alex will try to make it a drinking game.
Yeah. All right,
But
every time a
another
card
thing-
flips over, I'm drinking a beer.
Well, maybe this is a good thing in a way, but most card games you need 2 people.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
very reliant on the fact that you don't know every card. So
Sure.
it's something that I can't just do on my free time, whereas like juggling is something
Right.
that I could do just by myself.
That's a big reason why I think it's not a hobby. It's an activity.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And, I do like it. I'm just trying to, play some negatives on the other end, though. But I like what we're talking. I like the vibe. Let's make it a triple war.
Uh-oh.
8 out of 10, yay.
Wow.
Well, I guess there's no way of settling this. A tie in this podcast is a push.
Yes.
We're gonna push
All
right
right.
on to the next section.
Next
right.
section of the show is called Seasons Riddles.
Part 2.
All right. We're going to move on to our next section of the show, which is called What's on Your Mind, where we talk about what's on our mind. As always, we are flooded with emails
Yeah.
of theme songs for What's on Your Mind. And this one comes from the true king of Queens, Kevin J.
The only thing you see, you know it's gonna be the ace of spades, the ace of spades.
Thank you, Mr. James. So, we always start our What's on Our Minds with a fan submission. This one comes from fan of the show, Matt. Hey, Hobbers. You know what's on my mind?
God, wait, are you
Gross.
misreading?
No, that's what he says.
Ugh. Makes me sick.
All right.
Right.
Let's get back to
May I
Seasons
go?
Riddles.
Hey, Hobbers. You know what's on my mind? Not just the 9 to 5, but the 5-day 9 to 5. So I've been working full time for a month now, and I think this whole concept is a bit crazy, and yet we as Americans just kind of accept it. What do you guys think of a 4-day work week? Practical? Crazy? Are we attuned to be robots, or does the 40-hour week make sense? I know select few companies have tried it out with favorable results. Anyway, love the pod. 10 out of 10. Wishing all the best to Andrew, Alex, and the other guy, Matt.
Wow.
Wow, Todd.
That's great.
All right. So what do you think? I think this is something that has been debated before. It's an interesting
definitely.
point. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, I think, the 5-day.
So
9
what
to
are you
5.
guys? You're in a true 9 to 5.
True 9 to
Chris,
5.
right?
I don't hate it, but
5-day.
I kind of agree. I think that it could even be like different than the 4-day work week. Like I heard a case where someone was working a week on, a week off. That's very appealing to me.
Now, in
Something like
whoa,
that.
some
That sounds
companies
terrible.
like Google
Yeah.
basically say like
you
you can
work
take
every
time
day.
off whenever you want, which is, I think, like
I've heard it's
in
worse.
a perfect work. Really?
Yeah, because I have a friend who's in that situation. So I have 2 weeks of vacation time, but she's like, yeah, I can take vacation whenever I want, but I just kind of feel like a jerk if I take a bunch. So people end up on
I agree
average
with
taking
Chris.
That's wrong with
I
that.
think
That's
they
that
trick
person.
you. I think it's like kind of like whenever your work's done, you can be out of here,
Well,
but it's
yeah.
like actually a ton of work, and
Yeah.
it makes you
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
probably true.
it makes you feel like it's your fault, kind of.
Well, they are working for Google, which like
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably
Yeah,
making a
like,
lot of
that's-
money, so that's fine.
that's like a pretty important job, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say like it really should be based on the work you do, not the amount of time you're doing the work.
That's true because
Okay, always-
I feel like
it should be
everyone
quality.
is. I mean, I
That's
guess I
why
haven't had a 9 to 5, but I feel like that you always have free time, right? In your 9 to 5,
Yeah.
like there's always you could take quick breaks randomly, and
Yeah, that's why like the show The Office was so relatable. Because,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah,
a
lot of water cooler talk,
You know.
yeah.
For sure. I don't know. I think I do agree. I could see myself at some point in my life trying to be in a non-conventional time, just because it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I like sleeping in a little, or and
Yeah.
I'm also more of like a night person, so even waking up just to get to work at 9 or whatever is sometimes tough for me.
Yeah.
But
So, see,
I've had
I don't understand what his argument is. That it shouldn't be 9 to 5, or
Well,
that we
no,
shouldn't do 9 to 5.
I like what he's saying is that
like the 4-day work.
yeah,
week.
if you get a 4-day work week,
Work like 8 to 6
3-day
or
weekends
something?
every weekend is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Would 8 to 6 work, Chris? Maybe. Oh yeah, it would work, right?
Yeah.
That's 10
yeah,
hours.
I have heard of people doing stuff.
So
like
that's
that.
like inconvenient for 4 days, but
So he's still saying
but then
40
again,
hours just combined.
right? But the other
Kind
thing
of.
is, I feel like in a 9 to 5, like, well, yeah, Chris, you can back me up here, but I feel like you can't really do much. You wake up, you go to work, you get out, maybe have dinner, and then
It's tough,
You have,
yeah.
like,
You're
you have
having a
time
bit
for
of a
like one
crisis.
activity.
it's
like,
tough when I'm like,
you record
Yeah.
or
But that's like,
what else do you do?
yeah, it's like if
you
I
can't-
want to go
you
to the
can't do
gym
much
and
else.
eat, then it's 8
Right.
o'clock. Yeah.
And that's 5 days. But if you say for 4 days, all right, these 4 days are going to be a little bit worse, but I still probably can't do much. And then I have
yeah.
a 3-day weekend, or even maybe get out Friday at like noon or something.
Right.
Even just extend a
I
little
agree.
bit.
I
Yeah.
definitely agree.
That is great. And I think if companies allow for that, that is, I mean, it should work, right? Shouldn't that incentivize you to do more work?
Yeah, but I think the problem is like
Well, that's what
a lot
they
of
should.
businesses like are always like Google, for example. Like so people are always searching, so they always need people there. So it's like, I guess, tough to.
Yeah, but that's not.
Is that really like?
That's not what people at Google do. It's
Well,
not like
my
they
buddy,
man the
my
search
buddy at
engines.
Google, his job is he answers the questions, and he's super fast. But
Yeah, no, yes.
he has some tough
Jeeves.
shifts.
He's
Yeah.
he's Jeeves
Jeeves.
from Ask
yeah,
Jeeves.
yeah. He's a
Stolen
G.
by Google, of
Yeah,
course.
I think I just think the priority should always be the quality of work. So if someone can make the argument that they are going to be at a better like mind state and therefore get more work done and better work done in 4 days because they'll be happier and have a better quality of living, then the company should say, at least give it a try. Why not? You know,
Yeah.
if they're
Yeah.
saying I could make our business better, you have to at least look into it. You know,
And yeah, I think another underrated aspect of a 4-day week is imagine taking that day off on Wednesday. Imagine that. That would not seem bad at all. I feel like the work week is just 2 days and then day off.
Yeah, that's true.
2
That's
days
interesting.
weekend.
Yeah.
Man.
Brings me back to my college days where I would have classes like Tuesday to Thursday, and then like
Yeah.
3 days where I just was there for an hour.
Yeah.
Like,
I think this
It's an interesting idea.
segment is starting to like turn us into like us realizing what the real world actually is,
Yeah.
like having no free time.
and we are scared.
That's why people live for the weekends. That's why like
Those weekend
working
warriors.
for the weekend. It's a song, a hit
Yeah.
song. So
Yeah.
We'll
part of
figure it
life.
out. So if you guys want your own submissions, you can email them in to ineedahobbypod@gmail.com. All right.
or Snapchat them in.
Or Snapchat.
I need a hobby pod on
or
Snapchat.
voicemail.
Or text us.
Or text us. Yep.
or like pigeon mail. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
courier pigeons.
Those haven't been. I know we've got a couple of them, but they're.
Yeah, they're
I
mostly.
feel like we've got to lose.
they're mostly
some on the
dead
way.
birds.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, it was a dead bird based What's on Your Mind. A few episodes
Weird.
back.
Jeez.
Thanks, Matt, for that email. We are running a bit late, so we've decided we've got some what's on your minds that really aren't what's on your mind worthy for real discussion, but they're quick little one-liners. Maybe you'd use them at the beginning of a stand-up joke, and it would
is that
not
what we're
go,
doing?
not go well or something.
Uh-oh.
You know, like it's kind of like the airline food thing. Like, all right, what's up with this? But it's not like a true what's on your mind. So. Let's see how it goes. Maybe this is another thing that probably would have been better off just letting you guys say it than trying to explain the rules. But
the rules that
Yeah,
you're making.
all of a sudden
Yeah.
there are rules, and now I'm stressing out.
No, it's all right. All right.
I'm just gonna read something on my phone that
right.
I'm not.
It's gonna be a lightning round of sorts.
Chris, you seem more relaxed. Alex is frantically going through his phone.
Yeah.
Chris seems ready.
I'm
so.
actually good. I'm on AskJeeves.com. Good stand-up opener.
All right. So, Chris,
Here's
what
my
is on your mind?
1 or 2 liner. Ever get a sunburn on your scalp?
No.
Why isn't there sunscreen infused hairspray / shampoo?
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
You wear a hat.
All right. That's why it wasn't a full what's on your mind.
I mean that's like not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, wear a hat is probably good advice.
I don't like reading a hat. I've been talking about trying it, but we'll see.
All right. Cool.
For now, I'm just putting sunscreen in my hair.
Alex, what's on your mind?
This is just on my phone. Don't know the answer. On the internet, why do they call them cookies? And then it says, WTF, man, I have literally no clue. Do you guys know?
No.
Cookies?
Like, I don't even know what they do. Like, I
No,
don't
me
even know
either.
how they're. Do you know what cookies are?
Like
Not the food. Like on the computer, cookies.
Oh.
What are they and why are they called cookies?
I should know this being in computer science. Well, I know what they are. They like keep track of your browsing like data and stuff. That cookies are the reasons you get advertisements for
Stuff
Yeah,
like
like
you-
stuff
Amazon
like
on
sketchy
Facebook.
advertisements. Yeah, exactly.
But
That's
why
because of your
cookies?
cookies.
Oh.
So if you clear your cache, then you can delete
That's
your
another
cookies.
thing. So is cash and cookies the same thing?
I don't think so.
But why is it called cookies?
Cookies are just it's like for advertisement data, I think.
We know
I'm
what it
saying,
is,
why is
but
it
why is it
called
called cookies?
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Because cookies is like a.
It's a sweet
That's
treat.
already a very set thing.
I don't know. We learned about it in class, and it's kind of like I think the idea is it's kind of like a
They're like bacon.
like a stamp. Yeah, like they bake them. It's kind of like a stamp or like thumbprint kind of thing. So it's like a little snapshot of what
has
you've been
nothing to
doing.
do with
But you could
cookies, though.
picture it on a cookie, kind of like it's a little circular thing.
What?
No, okay.
I was gonna say maybe because
What
when
kind
you
of
said
cookies are
like
you
it shows your history, I was thinking Hansel and Gretel with the breadcrumbs. you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
But then they would be
interesting.
called breadcrumbs, not cookies.
We should
I'll
have
have
called
to
them
do some
breadcrumbs.
research.
That's
Look
interesting.
it up.
Yeah.
That's like if we, instead of calling this our podcast, we called it our cookie.
Yeah, basically.
I need a
All
hobby.
right.
A cookie.
All right. Here's what's on my mind. X marks the spot on Treasure Map.
Yeah.
first of all, do treasure maps really exist like that? If there was a real one, would it have an X on the spot? You know, how much is a treasure chest full of gold? Thoughts?
Wow, holy cow! You packed a lot into this one.
That's just quick.
I don't
stuff.
think they exist anymore. I don't think anyone's making treasure maps still.
Do you think there was like an X marks the spot?
Yeah, I
though?
think
Like you really think there was like a freaking dashes and like a X like
Maybe not
beyond
the dashes,
beyond
maybe not
the mountains and
but
under the hill.
I'm
in
gonna
the
guess
tunnel.
the treasure map originally was for someone to go back and find their own treasure,
Yeah.
and then you find a treasure map, and then find it. So if you were saying
You weren't just.
hid
I don't think you were
something,
leaving them for people to find. Yeah.
It's like when you drop a pin in your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, I
that's
parked
the
here,
new
I'm gonna
X.
drop a pin. People in the future are gonna say, "Were they really dropping pins?"
Actual.
Now we just teleport there.
How much is a chest worth of gold really worth?
Probably,
Probably a lot.
Millions. Yeah.
Probably a lot.
Okay. So yeah, I was just thinking like if I ever had the opportunity, like if I found a treasure map, I would probably quit my job to go find the treasure. Is that crazy or no?
I feel like a bunch
it
of
depends.
hipsters
It
these days are making
Unless like it
treasure maps just for.
perhaps like it was if it was like
kicks.
sailing the seas, I don't think I would do it. But if it's like go to
You know,
North
you
Carolina,
can like why North Carolina, but also yeah, I see very little situations you have to sail the
fly
seas. Yeah, you can
overseas.
fly.
no, but I mean like it's in like a remote island.
You could fly a small plane. You could have a private pilot fly you there.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I guess yeah, if you know that there's gonna be.
I used to make treasure hunts in high school, where I would like write a note and hide and say like, "Look in this locker for the other one," and then put another one there.
Nice.
And then it would be like, "Go to prom with me," and they would say, "No, Alex, you just made a treasure map."
You wasted my afternoon.
No treasure at the X in the end.
Just Alex.
Cool. Just me. Just me. An ex now. She broke up with me.
X marks my spot.
Damn.
All right, good. What's on your mind? Quick lightning round there.
Yep.
Anything else we need to talk about here?
No,
I think we're good.
I think there's one little section of the show
Just
that
the
I
plugs that you have to whip. Chris is going to gently slap us with the plugs.
So the plug. So INAHhobbypod.com, one-stop shop for all things hobby. You can go on there. You can find our Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. All I Need a Hobby Pod. We're keeping the branding consistent. You know, that's head of marketing over here, Chris. You know, just always thinking. Want to make it easy for the fans. And you can shop on Amazon. Anyone want to remind them what's what?
Yeah, I need hobbypod.com/Amazon. We get a little bit of a percentage. Costs no extra for you guys.
Check it out.
That's about it, right?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Email
job.
in if you want us to do any more hobbies, challenges, or activities.
Yeah.
We want to get some good suggestions. All right. See you next week.
The Ace of Spades.